What if the life you're living right now is a mirror, not of your circumstances, not of your luck, but of something far deeper, something invisible, something most people never even think to look at? What if the world outside you has always been responding to the world inside you? Before you dismiss that, think about this. Two people walk into the same room, same opportunity, same moment. One of them walks out with a connection that changes their life. The other walks out feeling like nothing ever goes their way. Same room, different reality. Why? That question is what this video is about. And if you stay until the end, the answer might shift something in you that you didn't even know was stuck. Here's something ancient traditions have known for thousands of years, something modern psychology is only beginning to catch up with. You don't see the world as it is, you see the world as you are. Every single moment of every single day, your mind is filtering reality. Scientists call it selective attention. The mystics called it the veil. But whatever name you give it, the effect is the same. Your beliefs act like a lens, and whatever that lens is shaped like, that's all you can see clearly. Think about the last time you were going through something difficult. Didn't the whole world seem to confirm your worst fears? Everywhere you looked, proof that things weren't working out, proof that people couldn't be trusted, proof that you weren't enough. But was the world actually that dark, or was your lens? This is where the law of attraction begins, not in the universe conspiring to deliver you things, but in you, your awareness, your internal story, quietly shaping what you perceive, what you notice, and what you act on. Most of us believe we're making conscious choices. We think we're the ones driving. But here's the deeper truth, one that can either terrify you or set you completely free. Roughly 95% of your daily behavior is run by your subconscious mind. The part of you that learned, long before you had the words for it, what love feels like, what safety means, whether the world is abundant or scarce. That programming, laid down in childhood, reinforced by experience, shaped by the stories you were told, is running in the background of every decision you make. And here's where it gets profound. Your subconscious doesn't experience time. It doesn't know the difference between a memory from 20 years ago and what's happening right now. It simply plays the pattern it knows. So if deep inside you, beneath the surface, there's a belief that says, "I don't deserve good things," no matter how much you affirm the opposite, that belief will quietly sabotage you. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because you are unconsciously steering yourself away from what you say you want. That's not a curse, that's information, and information can be changed. This idea isn't new. It isn't a trend. For thousands of years across every major spiritual tradition on earth, the same truth has been spoken in different languages. The Upanishads declared, "You are what your deep, driving desire is." The Stoics taught that it is not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of events. The Sufi poets wrote of the heart as a mirror and taught that when the mirror is polished, it reflects the divine. Even Jesus, in the Gospel of Thomas, is quoted saying, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you." Every tradition, every continent, every century, the same whisper. Your inner world is the root. Your outer world is the fruit. You cannot change the fruit by grabbing at it. You have to tend the root. And tending the root means going within. It means becoming aware of what you actually believe. Not what you think you believe, but what you feel to be true in the quiet, unguarded moments. So let's bring this home. Let's make it real. Imagine two people. Both want a meaningful relationship. The first one says they want love, but inside, buried beneath years of disappointment, they carry a belief that people always leave. So without realizing it, they choose partners who confirm that belief. They interpret kindness as weakness. They keep emotional walls up, and when someone finally gets close, they push them away. Then they look at their life and say, "See, nobody stays." The second person has also been hurt. But somewhere along the way, they did the inner work. They looked at their patterns. They questioned the story. They didn't pretend the pain wasn't real. They sat with it. And slowly, they began to believe, not blindly, but genuinely, that connection was possible. And here's what shifted. They started noticing different things. They responded differently. They showed up differently. And in that shift, different outcomes became available. Same world, different inner reality, different life. That is the law of attraction in its truest, most honest form. Not magic, not instant manifestation, but alignment between what you believe is possible and how you move through the world because of it. Here's the realization that changes everything. You are not a passive receiver of life. You are a participant, a co-creator. Not because the universe is a vending machine that delivers what you ask for, but because your perception shapes your attention shapes your actions, and your actions shape your reality. This is where personal responsibility becomes sacred. When you stop waiting for the world to change first, when you go inward, when you examine what you truly believe, and you begin to shift the lens, life doesn't magically transform overnight. But something subtler happens. You start seeing possibilities you were blind to before. You start responding instead of reacting. You start making choices aligned with where you actually want to go, instead of where your old story says you belong. The energy you carry into a room is real. The way you hold yourself, the way you speak, the way you listen, people feel it. Opportunities feel it. This isn't mysticism for its own sake. This is the oldest form of self-mastery, the practice of becoming someone whose inner world is worthy of the outer world they desire. So we return to where we began, that question. Why do two people walk into the same room and come out with different realities? Because they weren't really in the same room. They were in the room their inner world created for them. And that room, that inner world, is not fixed. It is not your destiny. It is not who you are. It is where you've been. The law of attraction at its truest is simply this: what you carry within you, you will find reflected without. Not as punishment, not as reward, but as feedback, as a map, as an invitation to go deeper. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply becoming more aware. And awareness, real, honest, courageous awareness, is where all true change begins. If something in this video stirred something in you, let it sit. Don't rush past it. That stirring is the beginning. And if you want to keep exploring this inner journey, this channel exists exactly for that. Subscribe if this resonated. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. The world shifts when we do.